First, it seems to me I had to make up my mind. I had to make a choice between merely developing, learning, maximizing, and perfecting the skills of communication. Now remember, I couldn't speak English, so it was important to me to speak this language in a fluid, fluent, and flowing manner. But I recognized very quickly it's not enough to merely know how to communicate effectively. That truly the greatest of leaders go beyond that. And they connect with people. They go from communicating to connecting. Something magical happens when you connect heart to heart, soul to soul, mission to mission with another human being. Now, you know, people tell us that you and I invest about 83% of our time each day at communicating, whatever function you're involved in. We all have to communicate. And the truth is, all you have to do to communicate effectively is to learn this simple acronym. It's called SLOW, S-L-O-W. To speak, to listen, to observe, and to write. Master those 4 skills: speaking, not talking; listening, not merely hearing; observing, not merely seeing; and writing, not merely scribbling. And now you've just perfected this system called effective communication. Now, I could tell you 1,000 stories about how I just learned the English language and I had to use it in ways that created for me so much miscommunication and so many now funny, then embarrassing incidents. Here's an example. I walked in a store to buy a pair of pajamas. Now, I've just learned how to speak the English language. I picked a pair of pajamas right off the shelf. I looked at the label on the back of the collar, and the label on the back of the collar said, "These pajamas are shrink resistant." Now, wouldn't you be confused if you had just learned the English language to read something that says, "These pajamas are shrink resistant"? So I called the clerk over and I said to her, "Ma'am, please forgive me for being so terribly naive, but it says right here that these pajamas are shrink resistant. I beg you, ma'am, to tell me, what does that mean? I mean, they either shrink or they don't shrink, for crying out loud." Her answer was a classic. She said, "Sir, that means these pajamas will shrink." But she said they don't want to. I was in Atlanta one day speaking to a nice audience, and I came outside this big church. Outside this big church was this big sign, and on this big sign was the name of the church, and under the name of the church was the title of the sermon, and the title of the sermon was, "Do you know what hell is?" And under that was an announcement in capital letters which read, "Come hear our organist Sunday morning." We say things we don't mean, we mean things we don't say, and we wonder why on God's earth people don't do what we ask them to do. But you see, we must go beyond communicating to connecting. To connecting. Here, I believe, is a definitive question for connecting with people. The definitive question merely is this one: how must this person feel first, so this person will do what I'm asking him or her to do?